Hey, it's Basil here, and welcome to The Road to Halo Infinite, a mini-series where I review every Halo's campaign till Halo Infinite's campaign releases. To make it clear, I'm not reviewing the gameplay, just the narrative. I decided to start things off in chronological order with the first game in the Halo timeline, Halo Wars. Halo Wars was the first game in the Halo series to not be made by Bungie. Instead, it was made by Ensemble Studios, who unfortunately shut down a month before this game was released, which makes this their last game. In their final days, were they able to make a compelling Halo story? Let's find out. The game takes place in the year
2531.
Humanity has reached for the stars and formed colonies across the cosmos. Unfortunately, one of these colonies was attacked by the Covenant, a conglomeration of a bunch of different aliens under one religion. This causes a war on the planet Harvest that lasts 5 years, which is where this game begins. We're introduced to our central characters, Captain James Cutter and his crew of tech specialist Ellen Anders and soldier John Forge, because of course everyone in Halo's name has to be John. These characters are boring and have no personality traits other than what their job is.
Serena, status.
Standard orbit achieved. All systems normal.
Prep for pod launches, bring weapon systems online.
Expecting trouble, Captain?
Harvest may be ours again, but I don't think the Covenant appreciate that yet. Sergeant Forge, report.
Definitely plenty of bad guys down here, Captain, and they found something in the ice.
Damn it. That complicates our mission. Anders, what have you got?
Captain, scans of the northern polar regions show some interesting Covenant activity on the surface. There's some kind of structure down there.
What do you think they're looking for?
That's what we're here to find out.
They also have a sassy AI like Cortana, but she sounds bored, and her performance is notably worse than Jen Taylor's.
Aye, sir. Crazy mystery trip to Arcadia plotted in, spinning up FTL drive.
You may also be wondering, why does Serena wear clothes, but Cortana doesn't? That's not something that's ever explained, and I guess it doesn't need to be. It's just weird. Is Cortana an exhibitionist? Anyway, the crew is made aware that the Covenant are excavating something in the northern region of Harvest. Forge checks it out and discovers a strange structure that's not Covenant in origin.
The Hierarchs grow impatient. We can delay no longer. What if the infection defiles the relic? I care not for your little life. Open the relic.
Open sesame.
It's a Forerunner facility. And if you're wondering what a Forerunner is, it's basically every ancient alien species that died 1,000 years ago trope that you've ever seen. The Covenant want this structure real bad because it's a part of their religion to go on their great journey. When the Covenant find information that they're looking for in the facility's computer, they decide to blow it up to keep the data hidden from the humans.
However, we must protect what we have learned here. Set the charges and destroy this place.
Destroy this holy relic. Surely you jest.
The journey requires sacrifice. Set the charges. Return to us. Our patience is not infinite.
But Halo is! After blasting their way in, Forge and Anders decide to explore this ancient hidey hole and discover a galaxy map. No, this isn't going to turn into Knights of the Old Republic, a much better story. Instead, Forge and friend escape the facility before it explodes, and they head to where the map told them to go, the planet of Arcadia. But, of course, by the time they get there, the Covenant have already arrived. Then, to cement the one-dimensional villainy of the Covenant, they begin slaughtering unarmed civilians in droves. This kickstarts an escort mission that lasts 20 fucking minutes. After saving as many Arcadians as they can, Carter and crew discover that the Covenant have built a big ol' energy dome. Now what do we do with big ol' energy domes? We shoot them with tanks. And when the shields go down, we blast them from orbit with Mac attacks. Not to be confused with Big Mac attacks. During a salvage operation, the Arbiter shows up. The Arbiter, he's a very skilled warrior with a very vague backstory, and he's basically an instrument for the Covenant's religious leaders, the Prophets. This tall drink of water kicks Forge's ass and then kidnaps Anders because it turns out that the Forerunner tech responds really well to humans. In an effort to rescue Anders, they follow the Arbiter to an uncharted planet, but uh-oh, this planet has the Flood on it. And if you don't know what the Flood are, they're basically just zombies. Yeah, it's just zombies. While fighting the Flood, the UNSC's ship accidentally activates the planet's docking sequence, which reveals that the planet is actually hollow and stores a fleet of Forerunner ships that the Covenant will probably use to wipe out humanity. Arbiter forces Anders to activate the fleet, and while the Arbiter and his goons are busy looking at their newly acquired ships, I guess they forget that they had a prisoner, and Anders just escapes by teleporting, because that's technology that the Forerunners have, and she knew how to use it because she's the tech girl, I guess, and she conveniently spawns near Forge because I think this story sucks. Now Cutter and crew decide that they gotta get rid of this fleet because otherwise the Covenant would be unstoppable. They devise a plan to blow up the ships faster than light drive into the sun, which would cause it to go supernova or something and basically kill everybody.
Put simply, Captain, our reactor will cause the sun to go supernova, leaving nothing here but dust.
While setting things up, Arbiter and his boys show up. Him and Forge tussle for a bit, and Forge actually kills the Arbiter this time. Then he has the gall to say this.
And for the record, I would have kicked your ass the first time if the lady hadn't stopped me.
No, you fucking wouldn't have, Forge. You were bleeding on the floor, dying. Speaking of Forge dying, during the tussle, the reactor got damaged, and now it's going to require a manual detonation. So naturally, because he's the only character around that we know the name of, he decides to sacrifice himself.
I can do this. Report back to the ship.
Good luck, sir. It's been an honor.
With minutes left and no FTL drive to get them out of the explosion's range, Cutter and crew decide to reenact the classic trope of slingshotting themselves around the sun. This, of course, works because it always fucking does. It never ends with someone slingshotting themselves into an asteroid or something, or falling into the sun. They always escape. There's never any tension with these scenes. Why do we keep doing them? Slingshotting around the sun isn't exciting. Anyway, with the fleet destroyed and no FTL drive to get them back to Earth in any reasonable amount of time, Cutter and crew decide to enter cryosleep, but not before trying to tug at our heartstrings.
But Captain...
But nothing, Professor. You got us all out of there alive. Get some rest.
Not all of us, Captain. Not all of us.
John Forge, you were one of the most forgettable characters I've ever seen. From your Commander Shepard buzzcut head to your generic Nolan North voice, you will not be missed. Overall, the story of this game is bland. It's a completely unmemorable experience, unlike Halo 1, 2, and 3, which have many iconic moments burned into my brain. The characters are all stock and boring, and they have one trait, and that's it. The captain, the soldier, the tech girl. There's nothing to these characters. The villains of this story also lack any real depth. The Covenant want to wipe out all humanity.
Hierarch, I did not wish to be impudent, but you have charged me with the destruction of humanity.
Why? I have no clue. I feel like this game would have been a perfect way to explore or explain why the Covenant, an organization that conquers and then assimilates different civilizations and races, why would they just want to wipe out humanity instead of adding us to their ranks? It's not explained, and I still have no idea why. You don't learn anything new or get a compelling story, so this prequel is entirely unnecessary. If I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 6. It's competent, and I can't bring myself to hate it, but I also can't bring myself to love it or remember it. Keep in mind that this score does not include the gameplay, it's just a reflection of the story. I'll review the gameplay some other day. With this prequel story ending up being a dud, does that mean that being a Halo prequel means you're doomed from the start? We'll find out next time when I cover Bungie's last Halo game, Halo Reach.